that much. First proponent, please.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, Senate Judiciary. I'm Diane Sands, representative from House District 95 in Missoula, but I'm here in my capacity as the chair of the Interim Committee for Children, Families, Health, and Human Services. And as most of you, I think, know, we spent most of the last year in that committee looking at the issue of medical marijuana in the state of Montana, holding numerous hearings, meetings, and drafting a number of bills. And I'm pleased to say that I believe that much of this bill is the template that we created out of that work, and feel very good that all of the effort that many people put in over the last year has resulted in a bill that I hope will be able to pass. Let me say that interim committee, several of the members were supposed to be here and stand with me, but they're caught up in other committees, as you all understand, so they're not here. Again, the Senate committee of that was Trudy Schmidt, Rick Leibel, Roy Brown, Christine Kaufman. The House, Gary McLaren, Penny Morgan, Mary Cafaro, and myself. And that bill that this is ultimately, I think, based on as a template, passed out of our committee with only one dissenting vote. I'm very grateful to the committee that worked on this. Thank you so much for all of your work. I really appreciate the chairman's efforts on behalf of this bill and the opportunity that I had to consult with this committee in many ways about the formation of this bill. I have not seen the amendments, so I won't comment on them, but let me tell you the criteria that we used as the interim committee and why I think this bill meets our criteria for support. We believed that the legislature should not simply repeal the medical marijuana bill, which was passed by the voters, but that we needed to honor the will of the voters and provide a system that could regulate medical marijuana and provide it for that limited number of people that we believed, the voters believed, it would be helpful for. So we were looking at that primarily. We also looked at the issue of ensuring that people that we felt believed, that their physician believed it would be helpful for them, that they could actually get the medical marijuana for their use. Third, we were very concerned about creating as clear a bright line, as they talk about it in law enforcement, between medical marijuana provided for under Montana law and illegal marijuana, that entire industry. And this bill does a lot in that area. And fourth, clarifying a number of gray areas, particularly in areas of public health and safety. For example, strong local government control, clarifying the process for hospitals, and other issues such as that. In addition to that, so in those areas, I believe this bill, as I have read it and I've been through it several times, meets those criteria. It does it in different ways, in some ways, than House Bill 68 did, but I think it does the job. The biggest difference really is the regulatory model. House Bill 68 took the Colorado model, and as all of you will come to know if you don't now, the interim committee and York subcommittee looked at the various state models that are out there, weighed the pros and cons for all of them, and picked a model that they thought might best work. But in the end, I think it's fine to choose the New Mexico model. We chose Colorado. The regulation we chose would be with the Department of Revenue. This bill chooses the PSC. I think either one of those can work. The bottom line is the state needs to pick a regulatory model and implement it. The other just a couple minor things that I want to point out that I think this bill does particularly well. One is I do think that it strengthens the doctor-patient relationship. This is about medical marijuana, and so when you look at the doctor-patient relationship, which is not the patient relationship with what are currently called card holders who have no required medical training, it is the physician and their patient. This really clarifies that issue in strong ways and makes sure that that person has an ongoing legitimate relationship with their patient. It strengthens the oversight of the Board of Medical Examiners, which is extremely important. It separates the physicians from the cannabis industry in terms of requiring them to have no financial relationship at all with them, which I think is important. And so it strengthens the physician oversight with their patient. I think those are extremely important. Secondly, you know, just like in Watergate, I think a lot of the issue that we're dealing with here that we have concerns about is about the illegal activity. In that area, I continue to say, follow the money. In that area, this is about a multi-million-dollar industry. Follow the money. I think the provision in this bill that we didn't have, removing cash from the industry, is extremely important. Make it accountable, transparent, trackable, and regulated. Make sure people have paid their taxes, et cetera. So the full disclosure and the oversight and regulation of the money by providing for cash, and the PSC regulation, I think, is critical to this. And in addition to that, the full disclosure of who has financial interests in, say, the grower operation, making sure that they all have background checks for criminal activity of different kind. In fact, one of the amendments I had talked to the sponsor about including is, we say there that they can't have a felony. I don't believe they should have any, even a misdemeanor criminal charge against them. And I think we should also look at putting DUI in there, frankly, because that is such an ongoing issue. But the issue of money, clarifying that is extremely important. I think this bill does that very well. There are other areas in here I could talk about, but I'm going to leave it to other people to talk about those. And I am in Judiciary myself and would request your leave to go back to House Judiciary. If you have questions for me, I'd be happy to return and answer them either during your session or afterwards. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.